Hey guys, welcome back. It's Shay. Please excuse my messy vanity and also my voice. I just got ready for the day and I'm still sick. Today I'm doing a collaboration with some lovely ladies from the YouTube Mommy Meetup, all of which have a child or children that have special needs. And basically today what we're going to do is discuss just the term itself, special needs, and maybe some of the other terms that are used to describe our specific children's medical diagnosis. As you guys know, if you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know that I have a 6-year-old son, Joshua, who has autism, and I have not yet made a video sort of surrounding his entire diagnosis, like some of the signs that I saw when he was very young, the whole diagnosis process, when exactly he was diagnosed, what services we're getting. So all of that I'm actually going to put into a special video. I'm actually going to start a series. It's going to be like Autism 101, like certain things, like I'm going to start from the beginning, the signs, the whole diagnosis process, and everything after that. So as far as this video is concerned, I'm just going to kind of focus on some of the terminology. Now, the term special needs I do use pretty often. I don't have a problem with the term special needs, mainly because I think that everybody has special needs in some way, and we all have certain restrictions and certain things that make us special, basically. Like whether we have a peanut allergy or we have an allergy to bees, so we have to carry an EpiPen, or maybe we have anxieties or fears or phobias of certain things that make us special and unique. So I definitely do not have an issue at all with the term special needs. In fact, sometimes I'll actually just say to somebody who I don't know, hey, my son has special needs, rather than my son has autism, because there's always that one person who's got like a second cousin's half brother's mother who has autism, and they don't understand that it's such a huge spectrum, so they think that because maybe their family member is really high functioning with Asperger's, that every single person is the exact same. And so it's really hard to explain that to somebody, especially someone who you don't know and someone who is not familiar with the entire spectrum. So sometimes I just say, you know what, I have to do this because my son has special needs. But as far as autism, and I know I am going to probably get a little bit of flack from some people in the autism community, and that's fine, it is what it is. I personally am not a fan of the term autistic. Let's imagine that you are reading a news headline, and the news headline says, 3-year-old autistic boy wins spelling bee. And another one is, 3-year-old boy with autism wins spelling bee. I personally don't like using the word autistic because I think that you're putting the disability before the person. Yes, my son has autism. Yes, we have our struggles and our difficulties, and there are things that we flat out cannot do, and there are certain things that we have to adjust our life around. And there are some times when we're going out to places that I have to have these specific things with me because of my son's autism, and I know that he's going to need them. And there's some places that we just honestly flat out avoid just because of the crowds and because it's loud, and I know that he's probably going to go into a meltdown and it's just easier just to stay home. Yes, we definitely have our difficulties, but in the end, my son is still a little boy. He's still a 6-year-old little boy. His autism does not define him. Yes, it is a huge part of his life, of my mom's life, of pretty much everybody who meets us knows that it's a big thing in our lives, but it's not the only thing in our lives. And just at the end of the day, he's just Josh. So whenever I refer to my son, I don't say my son is autistic. I say my son has autism. Because think of it as, if you have diabetes, would you rather be referred to as a diabetic person or a person with diabetes? That's just my personal opinion. I just like putting my son first and then putting his disability second, even though, like I said, it is a huge part of our lives, but he's a person first. And if you do have a kid who has autism and use the word autistic, I have no problem with that. It's just a personal preference. You will never see me using that. Speaking of words that I will never use, let's talk about the dreaded R word. Yeah, we all know what it is. We've all probably used it at some point in our lives, or we definitely have heard it used. And I basically just want to take a minute, coming from a mother of a son with autism or special needs, to let you know that that word is not okay. It is not okay to use that word. And I'm going to tell you why. For as far as we have come as a country, as a nation, as a world, or as science has come, as far as diagnosing different diseases and disorders has come, we have to remember that just as early as 6 or 7 decades ago, someone like my son would have been institutionalized and would have been put into the category of mentally retarded. Anybody back in those days that had anything wrong with their brain, whether it was autism, schizophrenia, Down syndrome, anything, was automatically lumped into this category of mentally retarded and put in an institution because they did not have the kind of medical research that we have now to divide up all of these different disorders and to treat them and to realize that these people aren't second-class citizens. They're actual people who are just born different. They're just born special and unique. So when I hear somebody use the R word, it basically just takes the entire world back 60, 70, 80 years to a time when we didn't have the diversity that we have now. We didn't have the medical knowledge and the research and all the diagnostics that we have now to basically put these people in these specific categories, saying, you know what, you're not stupid. You have Down syndrome, you're not stupid. You've got autism, you're not crazy, you have schizophrenia. There are names for these things now, and the reason there are names for them is because these people are people. They're not second-class citizens, they're not lower than us, they are people. It's basically the same thing as people who use the word gay to describe something that they don't like. Oh, that movie was gay. Oh, this pizza's gay. Oh, that person's gay. You are literally taking back an entire group of people that have fought so hard for their rights back to like the 50s and the 40s. You're basically taking them back decades to when people who were gay were thought of to have something wrong with them. Either they were thought to have a disease or a disorder or something that was mentally wrong with them. Oh, and just FYI, if we want to push it back a little further into the 1800s, if you had anything wrong at all with your brain, even something simple as anxiety or depression, you were automatically assumed that you were possessed by the devil. So let's just let that sink in, and let's just all be thankful that we live in 2015 in the era that we have the knowledge and the power and the proper diagnosis and treatment to treat these people who come out a little bit more awesome than we are. There's a great article written by a mother of a daughter with Down syndrome that basically touched on the points that I just said, that every time she hears that word, she's just reminded that in the past, her daughter would not be home with her. In the past, my son would not be home with me. If we were born like 60 or 70 years in the past, my son would not be home with me. My son would be in an institution. He would be deemed mentally retarded. So whenever I hear that word, it just reminds me of the fact that this could be a reality for us, and that it was a reality for so many people. And I just can't even imagine having to go through that as a parent. So when I hear that word, it just brings up all of those emotions that I imagine I would be feeling if we were living in a different time. But it's like, it's 2015. You guys got to get with it. You got to get with the program. You got to realize that we've progressed so much as a country. Even though there is so much work still to be done for equal rights, there are so many people who fought their asses off to get the disability rights that we have today. And so when you use that word, you're just bringing us back. You're taking all the progress that all these people have fought for, and you're just stepping us back. So it got me thinking, why would somebody use this word when there are clearly so many alternatives out there in the English language? And then it hit me. They must not know that there are other words out there that they could be using, so allow me to drop a little knowledge on you, courtesy of thesaurus.com. So I just popped in the word stupid because I'm assuming that when you're using the R word or gay, that's what you're trying to say. So these synonyms for the word stupid are as follows: brainless, dazed, deficient, dense, dim, dollish, dopey, dull, dumb, dummy, foolish, futile, gullible, half-baked, half-wit, idiotic, ill-advised, imbecilic, inane, indiscreet, irrelevant, laughable, loser, ludicrous, meaningless, mindless, moronic, naive, nonsensical, obtuse, out to lunch. Yeah, let's try to use that one more. Pointless, rash, senseless, short-sighted, simple, simple-minded, slow, sluggish, stolid, stupefied, thick, thick-headed, trivial, unintelligent, unthinkable, and witless. All of which can be used to describe people who still use the R word. So now that I've dropped some word knowledge on you, I'm hoping that if you are ever tempted to use that word again, or if you do hear it in conversation when you're out with your friends, you will kindly resort back to this group of words that I have just listed off for you and use a different word instead. There are so many words out there that you could possibly use in place of that word. There's absolutely no reason why you should ever be using that word, ever. And while you're at it, stop saying that things are gay. Things are not gay. Gay does not mean stupid. By using the word gay in place of the word stupid, you are saying that gay people are stupid, which they are not. Stop. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out the other lovely ladies in this collaboration. Their channel links may be listed below. I'm not sure if the originator of this collab is going to list them all for us. If they're not, they are going to be in the outro of this video, so just listen for them. And if you guys have any questions or comments or anything as usual, leave them in the box below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Hey y'all, my name is Catherine and I have 4 children. I have 2 little girls and I also have 2 little boys who we recently adopted from Ukraine. My oldest son is Narkis and he has cerebral palsy and fetal alcohol syndrome. And my youngest son is Aiden and he is blind, nonverbal, autistic, and also partially deaf in one of his ears. Anyway, if you want to check me out at Truly Blessed with 4 littles.
Hey guys, my name is Bonnie and I make videos on the Harris family journey, and my daughter has a tracheostomy and a feeding tube as well as some other smaller problems.
Hey, I'm Crystal from Mom Adventures, and my son has autism, sensory processing disorder, and global developmental delays.
Hi, this is Julie, and this is my son Daniel, and our channel name is Julie Hasselberger. Daniel has a condition called polymicrogyria, which is basically a description of a deformed brain. Daniel has many physical and mental disabilities. He's in a wheelchair, he's feeding tube fed. He's a sweet guy. Our channel name is Julie Hasselberger.
Hey guys, my name's Courtney from Life as a Convert. I have 3 children. Between them they have spina bifida, hydrocephalus, Tourette's, learning disabilities, dyslexia, dysgraphia, and I could go on and on. My channel is Life as a Convert TV.
Hi, I'm Beth from My Hands and Heart Are Full, and my daughter, who is 3 years old, has Down syndrome.